Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm really excited because our next guest is a really inspirational autism mom. We're welcoming for the first time to our show Blanca Duran. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here.
Well, we heard about a story, something that happened in your family, and we love to share inspirational things when things get a little bit better, or when the right thing happens, because as you know, frequently the right thing doesn't happen, right?
That is correct.
So you have a son who happens to be on the autism spectrum, Caleb. How old is Caleb?
He's 14 and a half.
Okay. And you had a big event that was coming. He was just finishing 8th grade, and you were a very excited mom waiting for graduation, as anybody would be. But it didn't go exactly as you planned. Tell us what happened.
Well, we were given an email announcing the preparations
for the graduation
ceremony, date of practice, and when our graduation gowns were supposed to be picked up and brought back. I did all of that. It was on a Wednesday that I had to return the gown already ironed and labeled. Then I received a call on a Thursday. It was the second in command of the person of the homeschool program that called me to let me know that they didn't think it was a good idea for my son to attend the graduation ceremony. I asked if it was possible to give it a trial run. She decided to say, well, we'll have the person in charge of the homeschool program talk to you about that. So my husband had heard of what had happened, and he just said, I don't think it's a good idea. I would not want my son to be where he's not wanted.
And that's really what it felt like, isn't it?
Yes, it did.
I think that every autism parent, every parent of a child who is in any way unique and different can relate to what that feels like. But what did it feel like when you were on the phone with her, Blanca?
I was heartbroken. I was crushed because I felt that, once again, another experience was going to be taken away from him.
And this isn't the first time that an experience has been taken away. In fact, you had just had a recent circumstance where you'd gotten another no, that he couldn't participate with something else.
Right.
That, and we can go into that, but, through the YMCA, you were told that he couldn't participate in their swim team.
Correct.
So it's like double whammy, double gut punch, but especially something that he'd been working towards and that you'd already gotten the emails, been preparing, ironed the gown. You're set as a mom for graduation. Did you already know what you were wearing to the graduation?
Absolutely.
Of course. And you wanted that moment for him.
And I also had something prepared for him as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so here they are saying we don't think this is a good idea. And even before you got the second phone call, your husband was saying, if they don't want him, then we don't want to do this.
Exactly.
I think we can all understand that. So in the meantime, though, you happen to be participating in center-based services through
Correct.
the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, and you had a therapy session that was scheduled during the graduation time. You had decided to move that so that he could participate in the graduation, and now you were faced with having to go back and say, can I have therapy during this time? So that you can at least make something out of that time, right?
Exactly.
So what happened when you went back to the center and told them you wanted therapy that day?
What I did tell them was that we had to reconsider and continue on with therapy. I let the office manager know that we had been denied to, for Caleb had been denied to participate in the graduation ceremony. Which upon I just couldn't hold it anymore, and I started to cry, and I apologized, and she said it was no problem. We'll set a schedule. So when I did that, after I was done with the conversation from the homeschool program, my son Caleb was due to a center-based session on a Friday. So I took him in, and Kim Tran pulled me aside.
And she's the operations manager
correct.
for your office.
The Santa Fe
really
Springs.
Wonderful young woman who was
Yes.
so bothered by what you had said.
Yeah.
It just stayed with her all night long. She really felt like something needed to be done. So you came in the next day.
Yes.
And what did Kim Tran say to you?
Well, she said, I need to speak with you. Can we talk for a moment. So as they ushered Caleb into his center-based session, she said, I really feel that Caleb deserves to have something, and we want to have a little ceremony for him. I told her she was going to make me cry, and she's so thin. I said, I'm afraid to squeeze you and hug you because I might break you. But anyhow, my heart was delighted just that he was given that opportunity. And I couldn't wait to go home. I shared that with my family, and everybody made plans to be sure to be there, except for my husband, who works 10-hour shifts for the city of Los Angeles, and he just could not make it, but he was able to make a call. And so he was there,
Wow.
as far as conversation-wise with my son.
Right.
And my son, so anyhow, so that happened, and we were just thrilled. It healed the little wound,
Yeah.
that we had experienced, and so we were pushing forward, and we couldn't wait for that day. And I told Caleb, guess what? We are going to, I never told him that he wasn't going to participate with the homeschool program. I said that Card was going to have a ceremony for him, and that we were going to dress up because it was his day, and we were going to have a party for him.
Yeah.
So he was delighted. He was excited about that. And so when that day came, he went to school because he's now presently attending summer school. Got him all dressed up, and my daughter and my middle son came with me as we took Caleb in. And as we arrived, my older boy was already there because he had just finished working. So he met us there, and as we walked through the hallway, I'll never forget this. He walked in, and he's the kind of person, when he reads a book, he doesn't just through it. What he does is he looks from top to bottom and just intently reads everything that's in there, focuses on all the details. As he walked in, he was looking at all the walls. It was all decorated for graduation, celebration, and he was just looking around and just looking around. I said, Caleb, this is for you. And so he was like, wow. And so we had other friends there, and I felt that it was a great opportunity for a social, experience there as well, going out and congratulating. And so our friends were doing that. And so we sat down, and then we waited for Asia Murdy, and she began the ceremony. And we celebrated and congratulated him, and more friends came in. And then I asked Caleb, I said, Caleb, do you want to take your gown off? And he said, no, Mama, I want it on. So I felt for him it was like, if I keep this on, the celebration will continue.
Yeah. And we have a couple of pictures that were taken at the event that we're going to ask Matt to put up. And so the top one is you and all of your family. Look at how beautiful you all look. And the bottom one, there he is, as part of the ceremony. You can see some of the decorations. What a wonderful, wonderful event. And my understanding, these kinds of things, they start out small and they get bigger. One of the things that you said to me on the phone was because all the other kids that were at the center participated in it, that they all got to see what that celebration was about too, that it was a learning experience for them.
Yes.
And I have to tell you that the ripples, I found out about this because somebody shared it within Card and they all have talked about how inspirational it was for them. This has meant so much to so many people. I'm thrilled that it meant something for your family and that it meant something for Caleb.
Yes.
But it really has had an even bigger impact than that. And I think it's important for people to know that. And especially, I would love for his school to know how great he did and how much it meant to him. And for other schools, we've seen so many different stories this graduation season about families who were denied access to graduation when our kids should have been there, been front and center.
Correct. That is correct. Yeah, it is correct. I mean, even though I did express to the main person who called us, she had changed her approach to it and said, why don't we just go ahead and have them go through the ceremony and see how that goes? And I said, you know what, it's okay.
Right.
It's all right. Because I felt that on the reverse, that's how it should have been approached.
In the
Let's
beginning.
let's give them that trial run on a Friday and see how it goes, and let's talk about what we can do. But none of that was offered in the beginning. And that's where I had to just follow through with what my husband felt.
Absolutely.
You know, and I had to be in agreement with him because I saw where he was coming from. You know, we want our children to be accepted for their differences and how they're differently abled.
Yeah.
And that's for all of us.
And not be an afterthought.
Right.
And not be something that, I don't know about you, but I want for my child to be embraced, not to be something that, well, we'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where it comes naturally.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. We want inclusion.
Exactly.
Real inclusion.
Yes.
Real inclusion, not to be, you know, an exception. And so I guess I'm wondering how you feel about CARD this week.
Oh, they are like my green pastures. I was thinking, you know, how do I see CARD? They're my green pastures when I go through this valley. They are, as you mentioned, an oasis, and they are a breath of fresh air for me and my family. One of my middle sons, as Caleb's progressing and he's doing much better through the sessions, he said, you know, Mom, I almost forgot that he had any behavioral issues. It's been so great lately. The family is impacted, and positively, you know, CARD has made a difference. They have made a difference, and I'm so thankful for how it all started, and just searching word of mouth, going to his speech therapy sessions. Justine Sherman and Associates, they have been supportive, but I reached out to them. I said, please help me find a good ABA therapy program, because I know he needs more than just behavior modification. And from there, that was mentioned, CARD was mentioned, and I said, okay. So we pushed forward, and so thankful that we went that direction.
Well, I know your family is treasured by them, each and
Yes.
every member of your family, but most
Oh.
especially Caleb.
Yes.
And that they were thrilled to be able to have an opportunity to celebrate his day in the way that it should have been celebrated. I want to thank you for being the kind of mom who steps up and did what you needed to do to take care of your kiddo, to make sure that he had that feeling of belonging.
Exactly.
Because you did good, Mom, and tell Dad he did good too. You guys are doing it right.
Thank you.
And please tell Caleb that we said congratulations on graduating. And is he excited about high school?
He's ecstatic.
Wonderful.
Ecstatic.
Wonderful. Well, we are so thrilled for all of you. We want to congratulate the Santa Fe Springs CARD office for doing the right thing, and to Kim Tran, who saw something and said, this isn't right. What do I have? What can I do? And followed through on that. Kim, you did good.
Thank you. Thank you all, to all the therapists, and Kim Tran, Asia Murdy. You guys have been a wonderful support team, staff that just treasure. You're just an invaluable treasure.
Wonderful. Give our best to everybody at the family, and happy graduation. Woo-hoo.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to take a break, and then we are going to be back with more Autism Live after these messages.